Hello friends! Earlier this summer I shared a mid-year update with you, which I filmed while I was camping and doing astrophotography in the woods of northern Arizona. In that video I mentioned several of the items that make my photography possible. One of those things is my Inergy Flex 1500, which is my power for everything when I'm camping and even sometimes when I'm not camping. So many of you asked me for more details about it that here I am in my studio making a video about it and about why it is indispensable for my art, because power can be a real challenge when outdoors. So I'll explain what this is, I'll go through some of the specifications and how they translate to actual practical use. And I'll talk about how I use my Flex 1500 and how I've used Inergy's previous power station models. I'll even share some photos and video from Raymond's and my last camping trip. At a basic level, the Flex 1500 is a portable, rechargeable battery. You can put it in your car or your RV. You can use it to charge any number of things while you're on the road, whether it's your cameras or other devices, large or small, or you can keep it at home as backup power in case of emergency. And the power is virtually endless if you have solar panels and some amount of sunlight. I'll get into specifics on charging it in just a minute. A standout feature of Inergy's power stations is that they are electric, which means no noise, no fumes, no being that guy at the campground with the noisy, smelly generator ruining the peaceful evening of other campers. I've been working with Inergy for over 4 years, and this is my third power station from them. I started with the Kodiak, moved to the Apex, and now the Flex 1500. I've loved each of them because they work, and they work reliably. I've really put each unit through its paces. They each got a ton of use. This new model, though, is different from the others. It's unique in its flexibility. I mean, the name is Flex 1500. You can use it in a lot of ways, but it's also expandable and stackable. You can see here that mine has two pieces. The top is the power console, and the bottom is the battery. However, you can add up to 96 Flex batteries to one power console. Let's look at the plugs that you have. There are two USB-C ports, two USB-A ports, two 5.5 by 2.5 millimeter DC outputs for the base camp LED lights. These lights come in some of the kits on Inergy's site, and they are fantastic lights to have around camp. There are two cigarette lighter type ports with 13.8 volt regulated DC output. That's 20 amps at 13.8 volts DC total combined DC output. And there are 6 110 to 120 volt AC outlets. You can see all kinds of information on this LCD, like the charge level, if you're charging, how much power is being output, and then you have ports on the sides for charging. This side has the port for charging the unit via AC or with your car, and this is the EC8 input port, which is where you charge via solar, or Inergy offers a quick AC charger that plugs in here as well. Like Inergy's previous models, there are a number of ways to charge this up, so you can utilize all of these ports. You can charge via AC power, your car, or solar. I do sometimes charge mine up with a wall outlet at home, but I far prefer solar. Inergy offers several different kits which contain different combinations of Flex 1500 power stations, batteries, those base camp lights I showed you, plus solar panels. I have the Gold kit with 4 Ascent 100 solar panels, which contains those panels, the generator unit with 1 battery, and 3 of the base camp lights. I've used, I think, each of Inergy's different versions of solar panels over the years. They've all worked perfectly. However, these Ascent 100 foldable panels are my favorite. They are so well thought out. They fold in half so they're easier to pack into the car. They have adjustable stands built in so you can angle them however needed to point at the sun. And they're also chainable, meaning that you can link several together to power up one of the power stations. Plus, they have handles and cases. They're just super easy for us because we store them at home and we pack them into the car when needed. Inergy does still have other panels, which would be good if you want to permanently affix the panels to something, or if you just like the larger but thinner form factor for packing them away. I'll put the power specifications of the Flex 1500 up on the screen for a moment. However, for a lot of us, these numbers don't really tell us how we might actually utilize the unit out in the field with multiple items to power and charge. So I'll get into how exactly Raymond and I have used this in just a moment, but Inergy says that you can charge a laptop 18 plus times, or you could charge a smartphone more than 115 times. You could run a CPAP machine for 18 hours, or you could run a DC electric blanket for 24 hours. And imagine what those numbers would look like when you have 2 or more battery units connected to the power station. Yeah. Like I said though, a lot of us charge or run multiple things during a camping trip or during an emergency at home, so let's go through how Raymond and I have actually used this. Starting with the ways we've used the power stations while camping. We charge everything, including cameras, smaller battery banks, drones, our RC trucks, remotes, and computers. We've run our Keurig coffee maker. We often run a hot plate as our camp kitchen, especially when you aren't allowed to have fires in the forest due to wildfire risk. And we power cameras all night for time-lapse photography. I have used small battery banks for powering cameras during time-lapse photography. That works great for shorter time lapses like a sunrise or a sunset, but when you need power for more than one camera, or if you're doing an especially long time lapse, like an all-night astrophotography time lapse, this will keep my cameras running all night long, and I still have power left over in the morning to make my coffee. We've done all of those things for multiple days of camping, in the heat and in the cold when batteries tend to drain more quickly, and we've never had any issues. Even when you have cloudy skies, you'll still end up getting some amount of power from the solar panels to charge the Flex 1500. On a sunny day in Arizona though, we've charged the Flex from nearly empty to full in just a few hours of sunlight. Theoretically, I could even charge my electric car, at least a little bit at a time, enough to get me back to civilization. I mean, I'm not going to take my electric car, which has a range of about 325 miles, on a 300-mile road trip where I don't have the capability to charge. But stuff happens. I like that I have the safety net. Anyway, all of that means that we don't even have to think about how much we are using our cameras or my drone. It's indispensable for us. In fact, I always put it in the same spot in the car. It has its own spot, right behind the driver's seat in the footwell. We've also used the energy generators when working in the field, but not camping, for time-lapse photography, but also for powering studio lights. Some studio lights have battery packs, but with a big power station like this, you don't have to worry about those battery packs. I can use any lights because as far as the lights are concerned, they're plugged into the wall. The lights themselves don't have to be designed as a portable solution because the Flex 1500 makes them portable. Okay, I threw a lot of information at you. All the ports, the output numbers, the different kits you can purchase. It might sound complicated, but it's actually pretty simple, at least to me. This is a powerhouse that can be charged on the go, plus it's scalable to your specific needs. For me right now, that means the gold kit. I don't even always bring all 4 solar panels. Sometimes just 1 or 2 will do for shorter trips, but I wouldn't go on a camping trip without it. Not only is power a part of my profession, I've got to keep all my cameras charged up, but it's just plain nice to run my camp kitchen off of it and not have to deal with fire if I don't want to or I can't. Obviously, I love this. Anytime I use a product as much as I use this, I want to tell you about it. And as a side note, for those of you that think the Flex 1500 is neat, but it's a little bit too much for you, you don't need that much power, or you have limited space, Inergy just announced a new, more compact unit, the Kodiak LT. It looks quite enticing. You can find out more about the Kodiak LT and the Flex 1500 packages on Inergy's website. I am an affiliate because, of course, again, I love them. You can use my code for a discount. And the code and the link are in the description of this video. And now that I've talked about this so much, I am feeling the need to get out of the studio and camp. But I'm not sure where I'm going to go yet. We'll see what I can come up with. Thanks for watching.